Hello, everyone. Hi. I'm back. So, I have to wait for something that I have to pick up. So, I figured I'd come on and share some more information that people might not be aware of. And I want to talk to you about the third eye, okay? So, it's been known for centuries, if not millennia, that the third eye is extremely connected to the spiritual realm through other dimensions, to the ability of astral traveling, the ability to see into different timelines. However, what a lot of people don't know is that the third eye is connected to the pineal gland, which is in your brain. Okay, it's at the back, right here, of your head. It's in the center lower part, right before it connects to the spine. And this was known all the way back before Egyptian times, ancient Egypt times, okay? The ancient Egyptians, as we know them because of the Greeks, because the Greeks call them the ancient Egyptians, the Kemetic people knew a lot about science, okay? Because they even had a god known as Thoth, which was a god of wisdom and knowledge, okay? Now, the Kemetic people were believed to be black African people, okay? Um they they were believed. Now, if you read the Exodus from the Bible, it's believed that the Kemites held the Jews in slavery for many, for I think for like 400 years. Okay, and it's believed, a lot of the people believe that it was the Jews that built a lot of the Egyptian pyramids during their time of slavery under the Kemetic Empire, under the Egyptian Empire, under um, the old, middle, and new kingdoms. Okay, no, old and middle kingdoms. But anyway, back to the third eye. So the third eye is very highly connected to the pineal gland, and this is information that is starting to be reintroduced again by people who are interested in spiritual gifts and spiritual development. The thing is, though, that for centuries the third eye has been slowly blocked more and more and more. That's why, like, if you look at indigenous cultures or ancient African cultures, there was a lot in ancient European cultures, ancient cultures of like the Nordic people, um, the Sami tribes, of North Europe, uh, a lot of these people, the ancient Chinese people, um, the ancient uh, Egyptians, the ancient indigenous people, they had a lot more knowledge than we did spiritually, because a lot of their stuff was, a lot of the things they ate, a lot of the things that they consumed did not block the pineal gland. Now, we have an issue here in the United States and in many countries where fluoride and aluminum are added to a lot of things unnecessarily. Fluoride and aluminum are two of many, because they're not the only ones. Two of many of the toxins that calcify and destroy the pineal gland. So, when you have your pineal gland calcified and damaged, you are more easily manipulated. Why? Because then you don't have the intuitive connection, okay? You don't have the intuitive connection to connect to your spirit guides. You don't have the intuitive connection to Mother Earth like our indigenous ancestors did. Our indigenous ancestors could speak to trees, and there's people who are still able to, because they are still growing up in places that are more rural, and they're still able to speak to trees. I know a shaman from the Amazon that he just recently got on the internet, and he is able to speak to trees. He is able to hear what the trees say. He is able, you know how in Pocahontas she speaks to the tree, the Mother Earth tree, okay? That is because, and that notion actually comes from the fact that our indigenous ancestors were able to speak to Mother Gaia because she is our mother, and the sky god is our father. So we should be able to speak to our mother and father directly without anyone else intercepting that connection. But that has been taken away from us so that we can be controlled by politics and religion. Okay? So there are still people out there that can still hear the trees. There are still people out there who can hear crystals. Crystals have different vibrations. Crystals have um different vibrations that they use to communicate with people. There are people that I know that practice crystal divination, and they can actually hear what the crystal is saying, or feel what the crystal is saying about someone. Okay? One of the ways that you can unblock your third eye is by decalcifying your pineal gland. Okay? How do you do that? Stop brushing your teeth with fluoride toothpaste. It's unnecessary. You don't need to brush your teeth with fluoride toothpaste. And a lot of these companies that have discovered this and have tried to stop putting fluoride in toothpaste have been taken down by millionaires, have been destroyed, or have been attacked constantly by the money and the lobbyists, the billionaires, not in the government, the independent billionaires that own companies that want to continue putting fluoride in things so that they can continue controlling us. Okay? So stop brushing your teeth with fluoride toothpaste. Try to minimize your animal consumption. What was that documentary you were watching?
Eating Animals.
It's called Eating Animals. Where? On Netflix?
I believe so.
There's a documentary on Netflix called Eating Animals. If you watch that documentary, trust me, you will never eat pork again.
Also, Forks Over Knives.
Forks Over Knives.
Cowspiracy.
Cowspiracy.
And Before the Flood?
Before the Flood.
Yeah.
So if you watch those documentaries, like, you're never gonna want to eat meat again. Also but discern, there's some information in there that you need to discern and kind of ask your spirit guides what you need to do and what you shouldn't do. I'm not pushing the vegan agenda. I'm not telling you to be vegan. Okay?
Organic and.
But there is a large. If you want to open up your third eye, if you want to stop suffering, you need to eat life. That is what Dr. Sebi and that is what Nipsey Hussle were about to bring out to the world. That in order for you to live, you need to eat life, not eating death. Mm-hmm. In order for you to expand psychically, you need to eat life. What do I mean when I say that? Eating more fruits and vegetables. Things that actually have a vibration when you consume them. Things that actually have a life force when you consume them. Because once you eat meat, there's no once something is dead, that life force is gone. So I'm not pushing the vegan agenda. I don't even care if anybody says that anymore. I'm telling you the truth.
Detoxifying.
Yes. The charcoal toothpaste is really, really good. Why? Because the charcoal also pulls toxins out of your body as well. You can actually also make a charcoal charcoal lemonade, okay, where you can do activated charcoal, a little bit of activated charcoal with lemon juice, and you can drink that, and that can help start to cleanse your body.
Yeah, you can't cleanse your body if you're continuing to eat.
So you have to flush your body first. If the toothpaste says fluoride free, then it doesn't have fluoride in it. If it says fluoride free. But there's a lot of toothpastes now. You have to really read carefully because they try to reword things to fool you into buying things that are not really fluoride free. So you have to check the ingredients.
On the back.
Yeah, the charcoal. Yes, I am newly back to being fully vegan. I was eating vegetarian before, but I'm back to being fully vegan. The tap water. That was my next point. The tap water. And I only went vegan because my archangels literally forced me to. They were like, if you want to keep suffering because I was suffering from a lot of headaches, a lot of joint pain. Guys, I'm not old enough to suffer from joint pain and swelling and inflammation. Okay? And my archangel Raphael primarily was like, if you want to keep suffering, keep eating that. If you want to thrive, if you want to continue to elevate spiritually, you need to change your diet, because otherwise you're going to be sick and you're not going to be able to help as many people as you're meant to help. If you're sick, if your physical vessel is sick, you can't do your light work, is what he said to me. So, my next point. Tap water is full of fluoride. It's full of
so many things.
So much stuff. If you drink tap water, you're drinking chlorine. You're drinking fluoride. You're drinking pesticides. You're drinking
even mold.
Mold. You're drinking prescription medication that people flush down the toilet. Okay? You could be drinking cocaine that gets flushed down the toilet when people don't want to get caught. Traces of cocaine, of heroin, of all those things. Okay, I have friends who work in the DEA, and when I was in criminal justice school at John Jay, they taught us about all that stuff that a lot of criminals will flush down the toilet because they don't want to get caught, and that ends up in the regular people's system, and that's why you end up having crack babies, because a lot of people, even people who don't do crack, end up drinking so much tap water and end up because they're in poor neighborhoods, and end up having a child that is already addicted to crack without some of them, they hadn't even had crack before. Okay? So tap water, you need to filter it. You need to filter it. You need to invest in a filter. Filters that filter out prescription medication and fluoride and all those kinds of things. I don't know, because a lot of people have said that boiling it only kills the bacteria. It doesn't kill it doesn't filter anything. So boiling it doesn't filter it. Boiling it only kills the bacteria. It doesn't kill a lot of the things like fluoride and chlorine and prescription medications and drugs.
It has to go through a reverse osmosis.
It has to go through some sort of
filtering, which is what most bottling companies do.
So most bottling companies, most companies this is just a bottling company. I'm not promoting a particular bottled water, but for example, Poland Springs, they have to put their water through an osmosis system by law. So that actually removes. And Dasani adds salt to it.
But I'm saying it still goes through it, but then they add like the magnesium.
Yeah, but don't recommend Dasani. Dasani is like but you have to be careful, because some waters
they add
stuff to it, like salt, to make it more thirsty. They add like some magnesium salts to make you more thirsty and make you drink more.
They only take water filters. Only take about the ones you can get on retail in your local stores. Only take out about 2 to 3 things like.
Well, one of the things with Dasani, the reason why Dasani tastes different, sewer water goes through reverse osmosis too. Yes, but by the time that it goes through the tap, back through the pipes, it mixes in with other things. Especially if you live in a really old building. So you need to filter your water. Look, I'm not telling you what filter to get. I'm just saying filtering your water making sure that at least your water doesn't have that. At least you get a filter that filters out fluoride.
You could look up things like AquaTrue is one of them. And then there's a lot of other things out there that filter like up to 80, because there's about 80 different things that can be trace found in your water, your tap water.
Well, boiling it is just going to kill the bacteria. It's not going to kill the prescription drugs and all that other stuff in water. So it's not going to filter the prescription drugs and like fluoride and chlorine and all that stuff. It's not. All it's going to do is kill the bacteria that could give you like a stomach ache and give you like diarrhea and vomiting and all those kinds of things. I mean, a filter, some filters are like, I don't know. You do what you want with the information. Anyway, if you want to start decalcifying your pineal gland, it's really important not to consume
tainted
the fluoride and the aluminum. Okay, so if you drink a lot of canned things too, if you eat a lot, that's another thing. So like, here's the thing, guys. A lot of impoverished communities, these are the things that they're getting because that's the only thing that they can afford. So that is why our impoverished communities are getting the sickest. Okay? I'm going to have to look into that, Renee. I'm not sure about that. I haven't heard that before, that turmeric is an antidote for fluoride. I'm going to have to look that up because I haven't heard that before. Turmeric is a great anti-inflammatory. I know that much. But if I do find that out, then I'll put that information out there. And once you get clean water, okay, and that's why a lot of poor people are getting sicker. So a lot of people are getting sicker, and it's funny because in more wealthy neighborhoods, produce is cheaper than it is in poor neighborhoods. So in a poor neighborhood, buying an apple may be more expensive than if you go into a rich neighborhood to buy an apple. Okay? And that is purposely making produce more expensive so that it's harder for people in impoverished neighborhoods to eat healthy. Because I've gone to what's considered poor neighborhoods around where I live, and then I've gone to a supermarkets in a somewhat rich neighborhood where I live, and the prices are very different. So I go to the rich neighborhood and I buy my produce there because it's actually cheaper and it comes from an organic farm. And it really is different. And that's why McDonald's has like dollar menus. And that's why all these things, why is fast food essential?
Alcohol and tobacco.
Why is alcohol and tobacco essential? But you can't find there's a lot of places that had to close down that were selling CBD oil, which is made from hemp, which is non-psychoactive, which is extremely good for you, because we have a whole system freaking system in our body that is called the endocannabinoid system. We have an entire system of receptors dedicated to cannabinoids, which are in the cannabis plant. So if we're not supposed to have hemp, why do we have an entire system that is able to connect to that? That is able to connect to the cannabinoids in hemp and in marijuana. if we are not supposed to have those things. Now, I highly suggest hemp because that's what I would suggest, because hemp doesn't have psychoactive effects. It doesn't make you high. It just has healing abilities. But why would we have a whole system that can bond with cannabinoids? And cannabis is not the only. It's not the only. It's not the only plant that has cannabinoids. There are other plants that have cannabinoids as well. The hops plant, just to name one of them. I believe I read an article somewhere that said that they found cannabinoids in cannabinoids in chamomile. I was reading an article about that, but yes, lavender tea helps. Mugwort helps. Be careful with mugwort though, because if you consume too much mugwort, it can supposedly be harmful, allegedly, and it can also make you a little forgetful, because mugwort sends you in between two realities. It kind of puts you between two realities, two dimensions. So, long story short, um, I know there's not a lot that a lot of people can do, but do what you can. One of the things you can do is try to avoid fluoride and aluminum if you can. There's aluminum in deodorant as well. So that was one of the major things. It's funny. I used to get aluminum free deodorant from Dove, and they stopped making it. I don't know why, but they just like stopped making it, and I'm like, I want that aluminum free deodorant. Thank God that I bought like a whole bunch of them when I found them. But I read an article that allegedly they were forced to stop making it for some reason because of one of their shareholders, but their major shareholders. We'll see about that. But that's another thing. So if you want to start to decalcify the third eye, you need to be avoiding fluoride, avoiding aluminum as much as you can, and getting more sunlight as well. Yeah, I used to use baking soda, deodorants with baking soda, but it gives me a rash because my skin is sensitive to too much baking soda. But what was I saying? I blanked. I got distracted.
Decalcifying.
Yes.
Fluoride,
So
aluminum.
try to avoid as much of fluoride or aluminum, and vitamin D is extremely essential. Okay, vitamin D is extremely essential for your immune system. Vitamin D comes from sunlight. Now, if you are wearing sunscreen, try to get natural sunscreen. There are ways to make natural sunscreen, because the sunscreen that we buy is probably worse than the sunlight itself. The sunscreen that you get like at the drugstore is probably worse for you than it's probably more harmful than overexposure to the sun. So if you can, there are recipes out there like on Pinterest for making natural sunscreen. Get sunlight. Not only is sunlight good for your immune system, it's good for your mental health, because vitamin D helps fight depression, and it's good for your third eye, because it actually helps you open your third eye. So.
And if you're gonna be in the sun, make sure you're not covered. You allow your crown to get
hit.
Yes.
So if you're gonna, yes, exactly. So if you're gonna be in the sun, make sure you're consuming a lot of good water, and that you're staying hydrated, and that you are allowing your crown to get sunlight so that you can actually get charged and activated, because we are plants. We're like plants. We need water and sunlight. So it is believed that when um it is believed that when you are elevated enough that you don't even need to eat food to maintain your nutrition.
When you're connected with nature.
When you're connected with nature enough.
Yeah.
That was something that was also going to be revealed in that documentary. That if you, that's what, something that also the a lot of the old monks in Buddhism believed. But it's important. Eventually, they would just like when they were old and elevated enough, they didn't even need to consume anything other than water and sunlight. So, but I highly suggest fruit and vegetables for all your nutrition. But yeah. So that's my spiel on the third eye. I hope that you guys got something out of it. I hope you have a great day. I have to go pick up something at the store. Avoid fluoride, aluminum, and get some sunlight. Get some vitamin D. You can still social distance from people and get vitamin D. Many blessings.